Hey friends, happy Thursday. I am Lisa with Made to Create with Lisa, and today we are going to make a wooden acorn. It could be like a sit-about type thing that you could put on a shelf, or you could mount it to like a big wooden base of some sort to make it be something that you could hang on the wall. But we're just going to make the acorn itself today, and I'll probably mount it to something after I get off the live, and then I'll show you. But for now, we're just going to make the acorn. So today we are going to use one of these wooden acorn bases that you can just get at the Dollar Tree. It's nothing major, but can you tell that this is slatted? And so we're just going to do I don't know if you'd call it a collage, but that's what I'm going to call it today. All right, so we will get right to it. I'm going to bring you over and point you down here on my desk. There we go. All right, so we have our acorn. And so the first thing I'm going to do is snip that off. We are not going to need that. We're not going to hang it from this piece of twine. There we go. Okay, so now we have our base, and we are going to use today the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. And we used this before on our other acorns, but we have used the wood grain look here. I love this. I need to actually make some cards with this and not just home decor. But it's just really great for fall. There's some various different colors. So we're going to use several of the different prints on here. Okay, and I'm going to actually pull one of these out to give you an example of what I did in advance. So what you want to do is, like, I want this wood grain to show. So I'm going to turn it over. And what I did is I actually did it upside down like this. I put it on here like this. I lined up the edge of this one slat, just this one. I'm just concentrating on one at a time. So I put it on there, and then and then I traced it with a pencil. Okay, and then I cut it out. All right, so this is what I have from that. Okay, I figured you didn't need to watch me cut it out. And see how perfectly that fits? Okay, and then I did the same thing with the next slat over. So let's say that, well, yes, that is what I did. I used this one for the next slot. So I turned it over, and I turned over this, and I put it on here, and I just traced this one slat there, and then I cut it out. And then I have this. Okay, so we're just going to apply each piece here and cover our acorn. Okay, so pulling out my Mod Podge. As usual. It's getting kind of tight because I use it so often. It's getting a lot up on that upper edge. All right, I'm pulling out my brush, and we are going to apply our Mod Podge directly onto just this one slat. We're just going to do one slat at a time. I don't want it to dry out, in between. So like I mentioned before, just make sure that you get it all the way to the edge so that your entire piece of Designer Series paper gets attached. You don't want any parts that aren't attached all the way. All right, and then I always flip it over, make sure that I haven't missed anything, and then give it a really nice press. I like to do it from the back, but then I also do it from the front as well. Okay, so we have one down. Now we're just going to move to the next one. And I am going to cover up that hole completely. Now, if you wanted to hang your acorn, after you have your paper on here, you could poke that hole back out. But I'm personally not going to do that. And so you'll never know it was there since I'm covering it up. So we will lay that on there. Whoops. I didn't get it all the way down there. I'm going to get it all the way to the base. And then pull it back up. You just have to adjust it until it's covered. There we go. So I'll give it a nice press. Flip it over, do the same thing, make sure that I haven't missed anything. Okay, and there we have the second slat. So what do you think? Do you guys like this designer series paper? I think that it's beautiful. Our artists at Stampin Up paint these designs themselves. I don't know if they paint them on canvases or what they paint them on. I guess if it's a watercolor, they do it on big watercolor paper, and then they get photographed and created into paper. So they are definitely exclusive designs. All right, I am going to get this all the way down on this point, and then all the way up to the top here on the little stem. And we will press that down all the way around. Now see, look at that. See how that's off a little bit? That's okay because it's extra. So I'll just trim that with my scissors when we're all done. And then it'll look more like a point down here instead of square. This is one of my favorite prints right there, that middle one. So this morning, now that fall is actually here, we actually had our first day of fall. That was yesterday, I'm pretty sure. So this morning, I went out and planted a few mums for my front porch. So I haven't done much else yet, but there was my start. I love decorating my front porch. Do you guys decorate your front porches? I'm a huge flower person, and I have potted flowers everywhere in the summer. In the fall, I pretty much just do some mums, and then all of my gourds and pumpkins, of course. All right, we're almost done. I think that is, yep, that's completely covered there. All right, now we have the last one. Get a little bit more Mod Podge. Make sure that it's nice and coated. Actually, I'm going to turn it around so I can reach it a little bit better. And it looks like I got some on the side there. Okay. Get that down. And we will put this piece on. Make sure that it is stuck. Yep. We got it all. Okay. And there she is. What do you think? Isn't that pretty with all the different designs of the paper? I'm going to put my brush into my Ziploc bag and put away my Mod Podge. So we are done with that. Now I just got a weird notice on my phone about the internet, so hopefully there's nothing wrong. I don't know if you guys are having any problems seeing it on your end. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just turn it over and do a little bit of trimming. Make sure that edge is really nice and tight. And I'm not going to do a ton of trimming because honestly, you will never notice from the front if, you know, if it's like exact or if there's overhang. You'll never see that. But I'm going to trim off some of these pointy edges so that they don't peel back off. All right. There. Okay. There we go. So, I know you're going to be shocked. Absolutely shocked. But I'm pulling out the jute. Okay, see, autumn will be done before we know it, and then you won't see the jute. But for now, I don't know, there's jute on pretty much everything of mine. Well, especially stems. Stems of everything I tend to wrap in jute. So after the fall is over, we won't have, whoops, oh, whoops. Okay, let's do that again. We won't have the jute every single time like we do currently. So you got to hang in with me. Please tell me that you love jute. Is there anybody else out there who loves jute and decorates with jute? I also use it for my, you know what I think I'm going to do here? I think I'm going to put a little touch of hot glue so that doesn't come off the top. I also use the jute for making my garlands. You've seen me do that. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Actually, I better put another dab right here so it doesn't slide off the top. And let that dry. Okay, Karen, I'm glad that you like jute too. I'm not the only one that's addicted to jute. All right, we'll bring it all the way back down so it's nice and thick and it looks cool. And then we will cut it off and tie a knot. And then we have our cute stem. All right, see, doesn't that look cute? Come on, you can't tell me that the jute isn't fantastic. All right, now what we're gonna do is we are going to pull out a bag of fall words. So I got this bag at Hobby Lobby last year, but I know that there are more this year, and I know that there's words even at the Dollar Tree. So they're just the thin wood, and we have thankful, grateful, and blessed. But this is kind of a thin little acorn, so I was thinking that blessed might be the best. Well, actually, grateful does fit. Let's see. I think I kind of like grateful. Do you guys like this one? I think that'll work well. Okay, so what we're gonna do on this wood word is we are going to use our Early Espresso stamp pad and a dauber. And I know that these daubers don't look like the ones we currently carry, but I have had my daubers for probably 20 years. They are just a sponge, a really tight sponge, and you just dip it in the stamp pad. And I'm actually rubbing on this wood so that it's just kind of staining it. So instead of a stain, I'm using my dye ink in my ink pad. And then it matches our Stampin' Up! Colors. So you just keep dipping into your pad and going over your wood until it's the color that you like it. You could do it really light and kind of airy looking if you like, but I want this to be really solid. And colored all the way. Now the nice thing about using the dye ink is that it is dye ink, which dries pretty much immediately. Okay, doesn't that look good? Oh, good. I'm glad you like the Grateful Karen, since that's what we did. Okay, so that is what is going to mount on here. Now, obviously, you could do whatever you want. You could put it in the middle. You could do it up here. Now, we of course, are going to put a bow up here. So I think I will do it. Maybe I'll do it kind of in the, instead of doing it at the bottom, I think I'll do it like there. Okay, so I am going to pull out my hot glue gun, of course. And you got to work kind of quickly and put some hot glue. And these are such skinny letters that you're not using a lot, which is an extra reason why you have to work quickly. All right. So you just lay it on and give it a nice press and hope that you laid it down straight. Great. Okay, now I don't know if you guys knew this or not, and I don't have it over here, otherwise I would do it, but did you guys know that all those little hairs that you get from your hot glue gun, that if you use like your heat embossing tool and wave it over it, the heat will just kind of make all those little hot glue hairs just kind of disappear. So I can see them in there, and I'll do that after I'm done. But it's super cool. It works really well. All right. These are, whoops, let's put it over here. Okay. These are the ribbons that I have for us today. So this is the diamond weave ribbon, which we've been using. And I'm going to make a different style of bow instead of like a regular bow today. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of each design that you choose and lay it in an X. So this one is our suede, like our faux suede ribbon, which is the early espresso, which matches the ink that we did with our words. Okay, and I thought that this green, the evening evergreen, would look pretty. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces of that. And then this is the fine art ribbon, which we have been using with the gold flecks in it. And we'll cut a couple pieces of that. And then I have my linen thread here. And we're just going to take a little piece. I don't need all that. Just a small piece. And what you do is you put it on here and then flip your bow over. Whoops. Sorry, that wasn't very smooth. Okay, flip it over, and you're just going to tie a knot. Whoops. This is so small. All right, you're going to tie a knot, try to get it to lay flat, and then tie a knot. And then that's the back. And then you can just kind of fluff this out and readjust it, and then it's like a floppy bow like that. And then, of course, you want to trim. I will move it over here so it doesn't fall all over my project. I don't want those quite that long. I already had them pre-cut from something else I was doing, and I thought it was so perfect that I could use them for this bow. But they're a little bit long. All right, I need to trim them all. They were all long. All right, I think that'll be better. I might trim them a little bit more. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to glue that on there, and all you need is a little dab of glue. And that'll hold that. You just nestle it right up there against the stem. And then I'm gonna pull in some raffia since I do want kind of that natural look. I don't want it to be too, I want some texture. Whoops. So what I like to do is I tear these apart so that it's not wide raffia and it's kind of hairy and floppy and a little bit crazy. And I guess I could have done this in advance, but honestly, I didn't think about it. So we will just make this into a bow. And then just kind of fluff it up, make it look kind of messy. And see how much that adds when you add that on top instead of everything looking really flat. I want it to look, you know, and obviously the raffia looks kind of like hay. So I love how that adds that natural element. So I'll put a big blob of hot glue on there. Hey, Chris, thank you for the compliment. You need to buzz over to Dollar Tree and get one of these and show me what you make. They have so many different shapes for the different holidays that it's fun to put these together. And it uses up some of your designer series paper that maybe you haven't had a chance to use up yet. Okay, I think that's dry. Okay, there it is. It doesn't really fit all the way into the camera. What do you think? I think it's super, super cute. Okay, so let me show you the other one that I made for my prototype. I made the pumpkin. Excuse me. The pumpkin that's also slatted. And I used our In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And I used the thankful word on there. I used the same suede ribbon as well as our the lace ribbon that we also have. And did the same jute. Thanks, Vicki. I did the same jute stem, and oh, I forgot to do something that I did on this one. Let me show you. Let me show you really quick. Now see, this one has the wooden outsides. I kind of thought it looked good having the matching on the sides on this one. So it's a little dark, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let me show you what I did on the pumpkin. So I had my dauber with my early espresso ink, Actually, I don't want that much. Okay, and then I just went right around the edge to just kind of give some definition. And I did it all the way around on the pumpkin. Actually, yes, I love this. It's just adding a little bit of depth. And we'll go all the way around. And then you can do it in the slats too. You can kind of put your dauber on its side and just start rubbing wherever you can around the words. And it just kind of gives some depth to those slats. I will hold it up close when I'm done. Totally forgot about this. All right. There. Yes, I really think that adds. Okay, let me hold it up. Can you see like kind of how it added that shadow? You're going to be going to the Dollar Tree every Monday and Thursday, Chris. Okay, so see, I love how it totally added on the edge on there. So now let me show you the pumpkin again. So see how I did it around the edge there? And you can see it on this print here because it's a light print. It just really kind of just gave it some more dimension. So those are the projects. So let me pull you up here. All right, I agree that the ink really helps add. Okay, so I thought if I zoomed back out, then I could hold it up and maybe you could see it better. I realize it's backwards. Why don't I flip the camera and there we go. Now you can read it. There we go. All right, and then this one. Let me hold it back here. Do you like it? So I think after I'm going to mount probably one, not both of them, onto a background, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Maybe on our next live, I'll pull that out. Thanks for the hearts. So that was the project that I made for us today. I have to tell you that last night I was working on something that I thought I was planning on showing you, and then that had to go in the garbage. You have to try things and see if they work. Now, this is my challenge. If you can get it to work, then that would be amazing, and you've got to show me. But what I tried to do was I tried to use some of our regular cardstock for a back, and then our designer series paper for a front. And I cut out the shape of a pumpkin and I tried to glue them together and then stuff them. So I wanted like a cute little stuffed pumpkin, and I had it all envisioned in my head. I thought it was going to be wonderful, but it wasn't pretty. Obviously you could do that with fabric, and I was trying to accomplish it with our paper. So if you can accomplish it and it looks cute, then you have to share it with me, and I want to see it and I want to hear how you made it work, because I was not very successful. Actually, I put it in the garbage and I was going to bring it over here and show it, but I forgot to bring it over. So anyway, all right. So that is what I have for you today. And yeah, we'll figure out what we're going to do next week. So thanks for joining me, and have a good, this is Friday Eve. Have a good Friday tomorrow and a good weekend. And just remember that you were made to create. Thanks. Bye.